When dealing with the filmmaking system, it is important to know where one stands in the eyes of the law. Many photographers and filmmakers do not know their legal rights. These are their stories.
I don't know much about the legal rights of photographers. I kind of assume that I have the right to do something until I'm told otherwise. I know about location release forms, and I know what's considered public property, and I know when model release forms are necessary, but there's a couple of times when things are hazy on that, and where the rules are hazy, I assume I can do it just so that I get the shot, and then if I find out later that I can't do it, then I get rid of it. But I think it's just better to get the shot, assume I can do it, and delete it if I can't use it.
The video or the photographic image that the photographer takes becomes his property. It's kind of like an intellectual property right. And then the other part is the person who is the subject has to have agreed to have their image taken.
Property issues suck. I wish we were allowed to just film wherever we want, but the main thing is everyone is concerned with their image. You know, we're now, when it comes to making movies or even taking photographs, it's no longer about the photograph, it's whose image you can put in there, whose image you can buy to put in there. So it's all about what you can afford, because everyone's so concerned about themselves and what they look like to other people. So this medium is being slowly more confined.
I was doing a video poem once, and I wanted to film at Walmart. I probably could have gotten away with just going in there and filming, but I decided that I should probably do things the legal way and check with them. And so I talked to them, and that made them immediately suspicious about why I would think that I couldn't film. And so then they thought I was probably up to something, and so then they decided not to let me film. And so then I just went out to the road and filmed from there. And so that's the glories of Zoom. However, since then I've found out that unless they tell you you can't, you don't actually have to ask them permission to film. So, useful bit of knowledge.
I discovered that you know, if the filmmaker or the person doing the shooting, he may have the law on his side, but that's not really relevant when it comes to people feeling a little annoyed that they're being filmed. And you know, so maybe the discovery is that you need to acknowledge or be aware that people are going to react negatively to being filmed, even if you have a perfect legal right to do so. You know, it'd be great. I could like stand over your grave, you know, as a filmmaker, and say, "Guess what? The judge just ruled, Thomas. You were right." But if the crowd beat you up and killed you, you know, it's kind of an empty victory.
In 2006, a lawyer by the name of Bert P. Craigs II published The Photographer's Right. This important document was like the Bill of Rights for photographers, and it spelled out for one and all just what photographers were allowed to take pictures of under the law. Upon reading the pamphlet, one realizes that despite popular opinion, photographers actually have a great deal of rights. For example, Craig's writes, "Anyone may take pictures of whatever they want, as long as they are in a public place or a place where they have permission." And, basically, anyone can be photographed without their consent, except when they have secluded themselves in places where they have a reasonable expectation of privacy.
Your rights end when someone else's rights are being invaded or impeded. They're looking for a paparazzi control law. and that's exactly because the people that live in that area are high profile individuals, and they're being hounded by paparazzi. And there really is no, either if there are laws, they're not being enforced, and if there aren't any laws, they want them there. And so they're looking to have some help in crafting some new legislation or making sure that it gets, so they get more protections, because it can be so disruptive to their lives that, and that is, I think, an extreme example, but that's where it's out of control, and it's really crossed the line into disrupting someone else's freedom.
В системе уголовного судопроизводства преступлениям на сексуальной почве и преступлениям против детей уделяется особое внимание. Раскрытием таких дел занимаются сотрудники специального отдела оперативных расследований. Вот их истории.
Well, I took a trip last summer to Germany and Russia, and I ran into quite a few legal incidences regarding filming and taking pictures there. The most significant one was we were going down into the Russian subway, and there was a huge escalator, like 50 or 60 feet down. And so, of course, the first thing that everyone wanted to do was take a picture of the giant escalator. But as it turns out, the subway system was built to withstand a bomb blast, and so it's illegal to take pictures there. So as soon as we took out our cameras, a Russian soldier came running down the escalator and told us to delete our pictures, which most of us did. But a couple of people had taken like 3 or 4 pictures in the time it took him to get down there, and so they would delete 2 in front of him and then still have a couple left over. So we snuck a couple of illegal pictures out of Russia. But we were also like fined a couple $100s for it. So and then also we just kind of had some fun with documenting doing illegal things in Germany. Alyssa took a picture where she was standing on part of this building right next to a sign that said, "Please do not step on here." And she took a picture of her feet right next to it. And another fun thing was taking pictures of signs that say, "Please do not take any pictures." So yeah, good times with law breaking.